think everybody has talked, and so it's time for a vote.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, there are 9 yeses and 3 nos.
The ayes have it.
No.
Yes.
I'm going very slowly
Yes.
Yes, indeedy.
for dramatic impact.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
As an old iconic stadium comes down,
Tearing down the past to make way for the future.
the NFL, the nation's capital, the DMV, the United States, and the whole world will soon raise hail to the new Commander Stadium.
Mr. Chairman, there are 11 yeses and 2 nos.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. The bill is approved. Final reading.
This is a deal, perhaps a deal of the century. Who knows? We'll see. This is a deal that could have been completely fumbled at the 2-yard line. And there's still a way that this deal could be torpedoed. I'll get to more about that toward the end of the show. But what has happened last night at the DC City Council was something, I think, to behold. For all you long-suffering Commanders fans, finally, the team will, again, fingers crossed, will return to the nation's capital. This was an 11-2 vote. And what was remarkable for me in terms of witnessing this was that one of the council members who was a no in the first go-around of Furman, he was going to be a no. He was a no in the first vote, as I said. But there was a remarkable moment where he said that he was going to turn his no vote into a yes. Why? Because in life, you're not always going to get everything you want. You're not going to always get everything you want. And I'm sure when you look across this, there are going to be things that you may not be a huge fan of when it comes to this, but it was, for me, seeing that was, I think, very remarkable. And the other thing I would say is that another maxim that I have, if you've watched the show a long time, I always say, when you win, you have friends. And I'm sure that the success has really, really helped. But the other thing that is, I think, also true about this, especially with what has happened here with this letter, which, again, almost could have torpedoed this stuff at the 2-yard line. And I do want to read part of the letter here. It says here, quote, less than 24 hours before the final vote, the Commanders organization was presented with a list of unworkable and impractical new last-minute demands by council members, which we simply cannot agree to as it jeopardizes the deal. Most demands were made verbally without supporting documentation. Given our deep engagement with the council over many months and our proven willingness to address any council member feedback, this is unexpected and unfortunate. Many of these proposals significantly impact our ability to deliver this project as envisioned and will restrict the value this project would deliver. These amendments could limit or even preclude construction, reduce RFK's ability to attract major events, limit the city's ability to deliver on its proposed housing, and hinder CBE participation in the project. Additionally, unions have stressed their discomfort with the proposed changes and are lobbying against any further amendments to the deal. Most do not want these amendments to impact our ability to deliver a world-class stadium with mere mixed-use development. Now, this was a bit of a plot twist that not even the NBC soap opera passions could write.
Timmy! That's right, Tabitha. We're going to win.
This is one of the things they're basically saying without saying it. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. The other thing that was also interesting about that is that in talking with one member of the Sierra Club, this person said basically that, these are probably negotiation ploys, a little bit of puffing, that sort of thing. But there were legitimate concerns, and some of which I thought, on paper at least, sounded really good. There's other stuff that it's like, well, they sound good on paper, but then the practicalities, when I hear a lot of the council members bandy about some of the practicalities of it, like, the whole levying of $10 million fine if the parcels of land are not developed, thinking about, there could be another pandemic, or maybe a builder could renege on the deal or whatever. I thought those were some good points. And going back to the Sierra Club for a second, there was one person that I did talk to, also from the Sierra Club. I talked with the chapter director, actually, and he had some stuff to say about some of the environmental concerns pertaining to this project.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're about to give a billionaire $1 billion for a stadium deal that does not have top-of-the-line environmental protections for the Costa Riviera, for the neighborhoods nearby. I mean, we're going to see more trash, more pollution, more cars, more parking than we've ever seen in that area. And we could do better. That's kind of why we're here today. There's a chance for the council to make the deal better right now. If they don't, we also have some time. I mean, it's going to take some time to build this thing out. We'd like to see the commanders really lead on environmental issues here.
How could the deal be better?
Right now, the sticking points, which are kind of crazy that these are the sticking points we are at, but right now the sticking points are there's a number of heritage trees, so very large trees, old trees that are along the river that are under current DC law protected. We're about to give the commanders a blank check to just go ahead and cut all those trees and not fine them as law would say. We're working as much as we can with council member to see if we can reverse that and save as many of those trees as possible. And if they do have to cut any trees, to apply the fees as the law says. Those fees go to reforestation and other forestry efforts in the district. We also want to see the stadium not burn any fossil fuels. There's a LEED standard that the stadium could build to be one of the greenest stadiums in the country. LEED Platinum, exactly. Again, commanders have a chance to lead here. I mean, right now, the current stadium plans they're proposing are worse than the stadium that the Atlanta Falcons have. You know you're in bad situation when your stadium's worse than Georgia's stadium. Like, we're the District of Columbia, we can do better. So we want to see some improvement there, not only on the LEED Platinum, which will get rid of fossil fuels, but also on zero waste issues. The stadium's going to produce a lot of single-use items. We could push the commanders to have a stadium where we are using reusable cups and systems. There are already industries in the district doing this, like the Anthem, like big entertainment groups in the district that are, you no longer see reusable or single-use items, you just have reusable items. We could be, there's only one other stadium in the country that's doing this right now. We could be the second. In fact, if we go fast enough, we could be the first, depending on how fast we go. Again, like an opportunity to lead on like making this the greenest investment we could, really supporting the neighborhood. In the absence of that, I mean, we're going to see tons of stuff flow into the rivers, tons of stuff flow into the parks. We're going to see, again, the parking issue. We don't have any good, strong commitments on transportation right now to make this a Metro First stadium. We're still investing a ton of money in parking. There's a lot of places that if we don't make improvements today, it's really going to hurt the neighborhood and hurt the environment.
And speaking of the parking, I know that initially it was bandied about that there would be 3 garages.
Right.
It was cut down to 2, and then we'll see
Yes.
what happens with the 3rd one as things
Yes.
sort of progress. Do you want to see more stuff insofar as, say, an infill station, for example?
Yeah, I think we need to work with WMATA to help get to reality there. I think there's some engineering challenges with trying to figure out how to enhance Metro there, whether that means a new station, an additional station, like larger capacity for the station, even bus rapid transit along the 8th Street corridor where the streetcar is going to go away could be an option. There's a lot of good things to do. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how much we'll get done today on transportation because I think that frankly there's some questions left unanswered, but over the next few years as we work with the commanders and with the city on this, we need to make it so that the vast majority of people arrive to the stadium by public transit.
All legitimate concerns, when it comes to the environmental nature. I do think that DC, the council did kind of sort of, water down the whole lead platinum stuff a little too much for my liking. I'm one of those guys who believes, hey, go big or go home. But again, by and large, I think a lot of this stuff will be addressed or has been addressed, especially with the stuff about the heritage trees. That's certainly very important. I think, as mentioned, the conversation about a lot of this is going to continue. Phil Mendelson, who is the chair of the council, pretty much said as much.
I think there was a lot of energy focused on the subtleties of one or two words. The reality is that the commanders are committed to building a green stadium. They want to build as close to what would be LEED Platinum. But right now, this early in the development process, it's not clear what all that would involve. So we wanted to make clear the commitment to be as green as possible while still giving them some flexibility. The team gave us a letter today that said that they're going to strive to match what we see with some of the other sports stadium, Major League sports stadiums, and that is to minimize as close to zero any solid waste coming out of the stadium. And there's been a lot of attention to something like 3 dozen heritage trees. That means just trees that are older. And we're pretty sure that at least 2/3 of the trees are not at risk at all. And of the remaining, it's not that the team is going to just cut them down. They don't know exactly the site plan, but they will have to pay a fee for each tree, but it's not going to be all the trees. It'll be a handful at best. So from the green standpoint, I think it's really a very good story.
What I think also has helped in this vote is that the commanders have seen a lot of success. Success really helps. I always say this: when you win, you have friends. And that's important. Now, of course, granted, maybe the success was not there last week against the Green Bay Packers, but much has gone well over the last few years. Getting rid of Dan Snyder, having competent ownership in Josh Harris, and coaching in Dan Quinn, and having a true franchise quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Now, by the way, going back to Dan Snyder for just a second, I do think that this describes him perfectly.
If a megalomaniacal buffoon like this man can be a billionaire despite constant ineptitude and embarrassment, is a testament either to the failure of the free market or has discredited every organized religion in existence. He is the anti-Midas of the NFL ownership world. Everything he has touched, he has all but up. Whether it be suing 80-year-old women for reneging on their season tickets, to gouging people for things like access to training camp practices, bottled water, and parking, to ordering the termination of sports show hosts critical of him on local radio stations.
And that only scratches the surface. And when you add the losing record to his tenure, no wonder that nobody, and I mean nobody, from any jurisdiction wanted to work with this guy. Nobody wanted to work with this guy. And as I said, one thing I have consistently been about is that when you win, you have friends. When you win, you have friends. And 65,000 of them at the start of 2030 will pack into the new stadium. This is a site that DC has control of after a transfer from the National Park Service with a lease of 99 years. 99 years. That's really, I think, the deal of the century right here. And while it's fair to say that this show will live in the archives of history by that time, and yours truly will more likely than not become history at the end of that lease, it is definitely fair to say that the renderings of the new domed stadium that have been bandied about are quite stunning, especially this from Cato Architects, who have proposed to make the world's largest stadium made of timber. Wouldn't that be cool, right? And with the seeds planted with yesterday's final vote approving this deal, it marked a true watershed moment. True watershed moment, not just for the Commanders, DC, and the entire region, the DMV as it's known, but I dare say this country. Why? Because I think for the first time in a generation, really, and maybe arguably ever, but I do think for the first time in a generation, at the very least, you are going to have a true national stadium. A true national stadium. If this ends up being the final look, especially, think Wembley in the UK, Maracanã Stadium in Brazil, or the Bird's Nest in China. So remember how I said at the top of the show that there is still a small chance, maybe the chances are about as small as the point of this pen, but there is a chance that this could still be derailed. Why? Because DC is not a state. As such, any acts, any laws that DC passes, they have to undergo congressional review. After Mayor Muriel Bowser signs it, Chairman Phil Mendelson has to send the act to Congress. Now, Congress, they've got 30 days to review it, and if they don't pass a joint resolution to vote this stuff down, then after 30 days, the act becomes law. The act becomes law. And should the status change of this for any reason, especially given the makeup of our Congress now, you will hear it right here on this program. So, barring any unforeseen circumstances, the countdown begins now. Hail to the new Commander Stadium. Hail victory.